Okay, so you did it. You tried sciatic nerve flossing. You were hopeful, you were looking for relief, and instead it made your pain worse. Now you're probably feeling frustrated, maybe a little confused, and honestly, probably worried you did something really wrong. Well, take a deep breath because we're going to clear all that up right now.
First things first, you did not fail. This has nothing to do with you being tough enough or committed enough. What happened here is a simple biological hiccup. You basically just poked an already grumpy, sensitized nerve. That's it.
So that's the big question, right? What was the actual mechanism that caused this flare? And more importantly, what's the game plan for right now? We're going to break down exactly why this happens and then give you a step-by-step guide to calm things down and get you back on track, safely.
To really get the solution, we've got to understand the problem. And I'll tell you right now, the problem isn't about needing to push through pain. It's about understanding the current state of your nervous system. It's all biology.
This right here, this is the whole key. A sensitized nerve. The best way to think about it is like a car alarm that's been set way too sensitive. You know the one, a leaf falls on it and the siren goes off? Your flossing attempt wasn't a real threat, but that overprotective alarm just went off anyway. It's giving you a false report.
Now, for a lot of people, this is the big aha moment. There's a good chance you thought you were doing a gentle floss, but you were actually doing something called a tensioner. See, a slider is gentle. One end of the nerve gets some slack while the other moves. But a tensioner, that puts a stretch on both ends at the same time. It's a much spicier move, and it's way too much for a system that's already on high alert.
And you know, it's not always just the type of movement. It could simply be the dose. Maybe you did too many reps, or you went a little too fast. Or maybe you were chasing that good stretch feeling, which, for a nerve, isn't always so good. Even the timing, like doing it right after a long drive, can be enough to trip that sensitive wire.
Okay, so how do you avoid setting off that car alarm in the future? Well, you need a better listening system. You need to learn the language your body is speaking. This next part is all about giving you some clear, reliable stop signs you can trust.
This is your new safety check. It's simple. No more guessing. You're just going to ask 3 quick questions. Number 1, intensity. Does the sensation feel sharp or electric or just intense, like more than a 2 out of 10? Number 2, spread. Is that feeling traveling farther down your leg? And number 3, this is the most important one, the after effect. Are you paying for it hours later or the next morning?
And the rule could not be simpler. If the answer to any of those questions is yes, or even just a hesitant maybe, then the answer for today is no. That's it. You just stop. You can always try again tomorrow, but you can't undo a flare-up once it's started.
And that brings us to the 24-hour rule. This is probably the biggest game changer. You don't judge an exercise by how it feels while you're doing it. You judge it by how you feel 24 hours later. Your nervous system's real feedback often has a delay. It shows up that evening or when you first get out of bed the next day.
I absolutely love this analogy. Your nerve is a smoke detector, not a motivational speaker. It's not there to give you a pep talk and tell you to push through. Its only job is to sound an alarm when it detects a potential threat. Our job is to hear the alarm and check for smoke, not to just turn up the radio and ignore it.
Okay, so let's say the alarm is already blaring. You're in a flare-up. What do you do right now? The goal isn't to just freeze and do nothing. The goal is to have a smart, simple, active plan to calm the whole system down.
Step 1 is to just find a position of relative comfort. We're not looking for zero pain, we're just looking for less angry. Try lying on your side with a pillow between your knees, or on your back with a pillow under them. Hang out there for a few minutes, then try a different position. A little bit of gentle change can be more calming than staying perfectly still for an hour.
Okay, step 2. We're going to introduce a tiny bit of safe, gentle movement. A short, slow walk can be an amazing tool, as long as it doesn't spike your symptoms, or even just a few minutes of calm, slow breathing. This isn't about exercise. It's about sending a message to your nervous system that not all movement is a threat.
And finally, for the next 24 hours, you have one job. Stop poking the bear. Just avoid these common triggers. And notice what's on that list. High-rep flossing. Trying to floss your way out of a flare-up is one of the most common mistakes people make. It almost always makes it worse.
All right, so things have calmed down. Now what? How do we actually get back to this movement without starting the whole painful cycle over again? Easy. We're going to approach it like a scientist running a very small, very careful experiment.
Your first attempt back is not a workout. It's just a signal check. We're talking a tiny, tiny dose, like 3 to 5 super slow reps using maybe half your normal range of motion. All you're doing is gently asking your nervous system, hey, how about this?
And here it is again, the golden rule. When you do restart, you absolutely must use the gentle slider version. The goal is easy movement, not tension. Keep it light, keep the strain low.
So how do you know if your little experiment was a success? You already know the answer. You use the 24-hour rule. You wake up the next morning, and if things are the same or even a little bit better, then congratulations, your experiment was a success. Only then do you earn the right to maybe, just maybe, try a tiny bit more.
Now we have to cover something really important. It is crucial to know when it's okay to manage this stuff on your own and when it is absolutely time to get a professional involved. Some symptoms are not to be messed with.
Let's be crystal clear about this. If you experience any of these things, new problems with bladder control, new numbness in that groin or saddle area, or a foot that's suddenly weak and floppy, this is no longer a do-it-yourself project. These are red flags that require immediate medical attention. Today!
Now, these symptoms are less emergency room and more, it's time to make a phone call. If the pain just isn't getting better after a few weeks, if numbness is slowly spreading, or if you just feel stuck in this flare-up cycle, it's time to get help from a physical therapist or your doctor.
If there's only one thing you take away from this, let it be this thought right here. This process isn't about being tough. It's not a test of your grit. The real goal is to intelligently, patiently, and calmly rebuild your nervous system's tolerance to movement.
So what's your very next step? Well, based on everything we just talked about, you now have a clear, informed choice to make. You're not guessing anymore. You're going to either decide to pause and let things calm down, or you're going to decide to carefully retest with a tiny, gentle slider. The power is officially back in your hands.